In this video, I'll be showing you the relationship between Social Security and Roth conversions that lets you never worry about taxes again. Because the biggest mistake retirees make is treating these like two separate decisions. Through working with clients who turned on Social Security first and then tried to do conversions, I've discovered that the order you do these determines your tax life for the next 30 years. And getting it backwards is how you get wrecked. And that's exactly why I'm making this video today, to show you how to build your entire Roth strategy around Social Security timing so the IRS never gets to trap you later with forced income, tax benefits, and surprise surcharges. But first, if you're new to this channel, my name is Cody Gunn. I'm a CFA charter holder and the founder of Arrowstone Wealth, where we help our clients retire early through smarter investing and lowering their lifetime taxes. And with that, let's dive right in. The most common mistake I see even among very savvy, high net worth investors is what I call silo thinking. They think, I'll decide when to claim Social Security based on my longevity. And then later, usually during tax season, they think, I need to figure out Roth conversions so I can lower my RMDs. They treat them as independent choices. And honestly, I don't blame them. It feels logical. They're different systems, managed by different government agencies, and they involve completely different paperwork. The financial media doesn't help either. You'll see one article on when to claim Social Security and a completely different one on the benefits of a Roth. They've trained us to think about them in isolation. But here's the reality. In the eyes of the IRS, your tax return doesn't care about your silos. Everything is linked. When you treat these two as separate decisions, you aren't being organized, you're being vulnerable. The lack of coordination is exactly how seven-figure portfolios end up paying tens of thousands of dollars more in taxes over their retirement than they ever needed to. It is a success tax that should have been avoided because you needed a little bit of planning. So why does this matter so much? Because Social Security is a permanent income switch. Once you turn it on for life. You can't just test drive it for a few years and then decide to turn it off and actually do some tax planning. The moment you flip the switch, you've drawn a permanent line through your tax return. That benefit now sits on top of a base layer and adds to everything else. IRA withdrawals, pensions, dividends, capital gains, they all stack on top of it. If you turn on Social Security first and then try to optimize your taxes, you are working backwards. You've already locked in the very constraint that makes optimization almost nearly impossible. So treating these separately is a mistake, but let me show you exactly what happens when you turn Social Security on first. To understand the trap, we have to talk about the IRS's favorite math problem, the provisional income formula. Most people think Social Security is either taxed or it isn't. If only it were that simple. The IRS uses a specific formula to determine how much of your benefit is fair game. They take half of your Social Security benefit, add it in with all your other taxable income like IRA withdrawals or dividends, and they even throw into there your tax-exempt interest. If that total, your provisional income, crosses certain thresholds, which haven't been adjusted for inflation since 1983, by the way, up to 85% of your Social Security benefits will become taxable. This means every dollar you take out of your IRA or do a Roth conversion, you aren't just paying taxes on that dollar. You are potentially pushing a larger portion of your Social Security into the tax bucket. Most retirees have no idea this formula even exists until they see their tax return and realize they're paying tax on the benefits they thought that were theirs free and clear. Now, imagine you light up Social Security at 62 or 66, and then you decide, hey, I should probably do some Roth conversions to get ahead of these RMDs. You've just volunteered for a tax nightmare. Every dollar you convert now stacks on top of your Social Security benefit. A conversion that would have been taxed at a very comfortable 12% tax bracket before Social Security might now be taxed at 22 or 24% because your Social Security is filling up those lower tax brackets. And it gets worse. You also likely triggered IRMA surcharges on your Medicare premiums. Because your income spiked from the combination of the benefit and the conversion, the government decides that you can afford to pay more for your healthcare too. You turned on the income stream that makes all the tax planning harder. And then you tried to do the hard thing. It's like you're running a marathon with a 50-pound backpack that you didn't need to put on at the beginning. So turning on Social Security first traps you, and now let me show you the move that changes everything. There is a period of time, what I call the quiet window. If you play your cards right, this is the most profitable phase of your entire financial life. The quiet window is that sweet spot after you retire, or maybe even semi-retire, when your high salary has dropped off, but you haven't turned on Social Security yet, and you aren't forced to take any RMDs. During this window, your tax return goes quiet. No six-figure salary filling up those brackets, no Social Security stacking on top of it, and no RMDs pushing you into the stratosphere of tax brackets. For most of the clients I work with, the window is somewhere between the ages of 55 and 67. It's the only time in your entire life where you have total control over your taxable income. The IRS isn't forcing you to take anything yet. But why is this window so powerful? Because your provisional income is at its absolute lowest point. Since you aren't receiving Social Security, conversions can't trigger Social Security taxation. Since your income is low, you're well under IRMA thresholds. This is your opportunity to fill those buckets. You fill the 10, the 12, and maybe even the 22% brackets entirely with Roth conversions at tax rates that you are probably never going to see again. Think about it. If you have $40,000 in miscellaneous retirement income, you might have $50,000 or more of empty space in the 12% bracket. You can move $50,000 from that IRA to your Roth and pay a measly 12% on it. The moment Social Security turns on, that empty space completely disappears. It's eaten up by the benefit. The quiet window is a use it or lose it opportunity to move wealth into the tax-free environment at a massive discount. Now that you see how the quiet window works, if you want help building your dream retirement as a whole, click the link below to book a call, where I'll analyze your specific situation and show you how to optimize your plan altogether so you can apply this to your specific situation. When people hear Roth conversion, they usually think of it as a chore, a math problem. But I want you to shift your perspective. When you convert during the quiet window, you aren't just moving money from your left pocket to your right pocket. You are buying your future tax brackets. Every dollar you convert at 12% now is a dollar you won't be forced to withdraw at 22 or 24 or higher later when RMD starts stacking on top of your Social Security benefits. You are essentially shrinking the size of the tax bomb, that massive IRA that will eventually create mandatory withdrawals, whether you need the money or not. By shrinking the IRA now, you're ensuring a much smaller RMDs occur in your 70s and your 80s. But the real magic happens with how that money behaves once it's in the Roth. Roth money is invisible to the IRS. It doesn't show up on your provisional income formula, ever, and it doesn't trigger Medicare surcharges. Imagine two neighbors in their late 70s. Neighbor A pulls $40,000 from a traditional IRA to buy a new car. That $40,000 might make 85% of their Social Security taxable and spike their Medicare premiums. Neighbor B pulls $40,000 from their Roth IRA for the exact same car. To the IRS, Neighbor B's income impact is $0. Zero. That gives you the ultimate retirement luxury control. You gain the ability to dial your taxable income up or down any given year. If you need extra cash for a grandkid's wedding or a Mediterranean cruise, you take it from the Roth and your tax return doesn't even flinch. Clients who've converted aggressively during their quiet window have a level of flexibility in their 70s that people who didn't convert simply can't access. They aren't at the mercy of the tax code, they've simply transcended it. So you're buying your future tax bracket. Now let me show you when to flip Social Security on and why the timing matters. So when is the right time to turn on Social Security? In a perfectly coordinated plan, Social Security is the reward for doing the hard work. It isn't the starting point. Before you flip that switch, a few things need to be true. First, you should have already significantly shrunk your IRA through conversions so your future RMDs are manageable. Second, you should have shifted a meaningful chunk of your assets into the Roth bucket so you have the tax-free income sources ready to go. You want to use those low tax bracket years, your quiet window, to do the heavy lifting that becomes impossible once Social Security starts flowing. When you do it this way, retirement looks completely different. Your RMDs are smaller because you spent your 60s drawing down the IRA on your terms, not the government's. Those smaller RMDs don't jack up your tax bracket or trigger those really annoying IRMA surcharges. Since a big slice of your income is now coming from your Roth, it's invisible to your provisional income formula. You're in the driver's seat. You have total control about how much taxable income versus tax-free income you take each year. You aren't hoping the tax system is kind to you in 20 years. You've rigged the system in your favor on purpose before the constraints were ever locked in. Now that you see when to flip Social Security on, let's look at what happens when people do it the default way. The default way is what most of the country does. They turn on Social Security at 62 or 65 because, hey, the money's there, they paid into it, and they want it now. They might do a Roth conversion here or there if their CPA happens to mention it, but it seems kind of random. There's no coordination with Social Security timing. They let their IRAs grow and feel great if the balance is hitting $2 million or $3 million, not realizing they're actually building a tax bomb that's going to detonate the moment RMDs start. These people spend their 70s and their 80s in a reactive state. They get tax letters they didn't expect, they pay Medicare surcharges they didn't plan for, and they can't do anything about it because every major decision was made in isolation years ago. The strategic path delivers something entirely different. You plan your conversions first during the quiet window. You hammer those conversions while the brackets are low and your provisional income doesn't exist. You intentionally stay poor on paper to move wealth into that tax-free bucket. Then and only then do you flip Social Security on, knowing your future is protected. The rest of your life becomes a simple choice of how much tax-free and low-tax income you want to spend. This is the difference between being a victim of the tax code and being the architect of your own retirement. It's the difference between hoping for the best and never worrying about taxes again because you built the structure before the doors were actually locked. Now that you've seen why Social Security and Roth conversions must be coordinated together, and how using your quiet window to hammer conversions before flipping Social Security on lets you shrink future RMDs, keep your Roth income invisible to provisional income calculations, and control your tax bracket for the rest of your life, you can stop treating these as separate decisions and start building the structure that rigs the system in your favor. If you want help building your dream retirement, click the link below to book a call, where I will show you how all of these concepts will apply to your specific situation. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you on the next one. Cheers.